We've had so much Trump stuff all week, and we are going to take calls after the break that I want to do a non-Trump story right now for you. You might remember the story of bigoted, despicable, rancid, anti-gay scofflaw Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis, who refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples in Rowan County, Kentucky last year, after the Supreme Court decision banning bans on same-sex marriage at the state level. There are four couples, two same-sex couples and two straight couples, that sued Kim Davis as a result of her actions, and she has lost her legal battle to be a bigot. And here's the sweet, sweet irony of it, or justice, call it what you want. Kim Davis might actually have to pay the legal fees and costs of her opponents, which are $233,058. Ultimately, the lawsuit was resolved after the Kentucky Republican governor changed the state law to eliminate the need of clerks to even authorize licenses. So there was this thing where, for whatever reason, the clerk had to authorize marriage licenses. And the Kentucky Republican governor said, this is really kind of an S storm, if you know what I mean. Let's just change the law so that Kim Davis is no longer even in the position of being the decider about these marriage licenses. However, as for her own costs, Davis has had a pretty easy ride. That anti-LGBT Liberty Council did the legal work for her for free. Great for her. But she may actually have to pay up now because the four couples who sued her are appealing to U.S. District Court Judge David Bunning to seek an order allowing them to recoup the $233,058 in legal fees and costs. Now, you might say, well, hold on. She was acting in her capacity as Rowan County Clerk at the time. Maybe Rowan County Clerk should pay the costs. And they said, no. She was directed to issue marriage licenses, and she was acting on her own behalf, and we are not going to cover these costs. Now, Liberty Counsel is still defending her for free. They are fighting the order on the grounds that since she didn't really lose the case, she shouldn't have to pay the cost. And that is technically true because the lawsuit was done. And then the Republican governor said, you know what? The county clerk no longer has to sign marriage licenses. So now these couples can go and get the marriage licenses without Kim Davis's signature on them. And the Liberty Counsel is saying because the law was changed, she doesn't owe anybody any money. Of course, that doesn't change the fact that at the time of the lawsuit, that wasn't the law, and legal costs were incurred by the four plaintiffs. All she has to do, Pat, is put up a website, and the anti-gay haters are going to give her money. You do a little GoFundMe campaign for hate, like that crazy anti-gay pizza restaurant. Next thing you know, she'll have $233,000.
And the crazy part of the story is she was almost treated like a martyr by conservatives like Mike Huckabee, who would put her out there in his campaign rallies.
Kim Davis is exactly the reason why a certain contingent of conservatives is just not taken seriously in America. She's the textbook definition of a hypocrite. She says, traditional values, biblical values. She's been married 4 times to 3 different men, cheated on husband number 1 with husband number 3, yet morality made it so she just couldn't issue a license for marriage to a same-sex couple. She won't even be an asterisk, but rather a coffee stain on the history of LGBT rights in the United States, and it comes down to her delusions of grandeur. Your job, Kim, isn't to figure out whether your particular God's morality is consistent with a Supreme Court decision. It's to hand out marriage licenses and collect your paycheck. And after the Republican governor's decision to change the law, her job is not even any longer to hand out marriage licenses. I hope that she ends up having to pay and to pay big. Little silver lining in what's been a week of pretty bad news today on Veterans Day. I'm thinking about our veterans and our active duty military and our reserve military today because we have a president-elect now that clearly is not a friend to veterans. We have seen that time and again. I am sure that after the break, when we take your phone calls at 617-830-4750, we will hear from callers, at least some of whom are concerned with the upcoming actions of President-to-be Donald Trump. Glad you're with us today.